Hello and welcome to Design Northeast. I'm Chris Gill and I'm going to present session 5 in our 6-part introduction to the National Design Guide and its purpose. Places affect us all. They are where we live, work and spend our leisure time. Well-designed places influence the quality of our experience as we spend time in them and move around them. This design guide, the National Design Guide, illustrates how well-designed places that are beautiful, enduring and successful can be achieved in practice. This is the 5th part of a 6-part learning programme to help you understand and apply the principles in the National Design Guide in your work. The material was developed on behalf of MHCLG to be delivered at learning events for councillors and officers of local authorities throughout England. We had planned to hold a North East Learning Workshop at the Toffee Factory, Ousbourne, Newcastle in March 2020, and this was to have included a walking seminar to enable participants to try out the guide on site. In light of the current crisis, we have also developed the material into a number of linked online learning sessions. So the objectives of this programme are to understand how the National Design Guide relates to national planning policy, how the guide relates to local planning policy and practice, to help you become familiar with the 10 characteristics of the National Design Guide and their interconnections, to help you to be able to make practical use of the National Design Guide to evaluate design quality, and to help you understand how the guide relates to tools and processes you can use to secure good design. There are 6 parts to the learning programme. This is part 5, Achieving Well-Designed Places. What the National Design Guide does say is that well-designed places and buildings come about when there is a clearly expressed story for the design concept and how it has evolved into a design proposal. This story will inform and address all 10 characteristics. It is set out in a design and access statement that accompanies a planning application. This relates to the idea that design is a process, and getting the process or the story right will lead to good design outcomes. It is the way that local planning authorities inform and engage with that design process that is the key to securing good design. This is an example of how one group of 5 local authorities have agreed to tackle managing design through the planning process for large sites. It's been developed working with their local design network member organisation, and it's the Suffolk Design Management Process, although we don't expect you to read it in detail on the screen, but we will be circulating slides under separate cover, and hopefully you will be able to look at the detail on the slides at your leisure. They have broken the process down into stages and determined at each stage what outcomes they need, what interactions they need to have with the applicant, and what they need to do internally, and how they need to engage with communities. The point is that they have integrated design into the whole process. It's not something they only think about at one stage or as a separate issue. In essence, we think that it can be boiled down into 3 areas: policy, process, and capacity. And planning practice guidance gives advice on addressing those. In terms of policy and planning for well-designed places, we have the plan vision, which set out what is special about the area, what type of development should go where, and local considerations like landscape character areas. Design should be at the heart, not just a separate section of policy within them. Master plans set out the general layout, movement network, and type of development that will be appropriate for a particular place and where different land uses should go. Design codes set out specific requirements in terms of development scale and form, often to fit into an existing master plan. The code may also set requirements for appearance, details and materials, and if codes are used but there is no master plan, they may set requirements for layouts and where different land uses should go. The supplementary planning documents may set out requirements for certain types of development wherever they go. For example, design SPGs might set out how parking or refuse bin storage should be designed. We also have the process around discussions and decisions, and how we make decisions about design at each point of the process: pre-application, parameter plans, design and access statements, the use of conditions, including important design details to be set out at application stage, but, and as many of you will be aware, ensuring quality is not diminished between permission and completion, including a strategy for maintaining the original design intent, is absolutely critical. In terms of assessment and engagement, there are various tools for assessing and improving design quality, including the National Design Guide, local design guides and codes, effective design review, and assessment frameworks including Building for Life 12. Effective community engagement on design is vital. It's important that we consider how local communities can be effectively engaged early in the design process. And by local communities, we are referring to both residents and all other communities of interest. We need to employ effective community engagement tools, and many of you will have done this and reaped the rewards. Capacity is also a critical consideration. It's not just about the policies and the procedures, it's about having the skills, confidence and culture. Specialist officers are useful, but also the skills of generalist officers and members are important, and additional staff can be brought in from other sources. And indeed, the Design Network can provide external support through advice, workshops and design review. But it helps to create a culture where a design ambition is clear and there is a collaborative approach to achieving it. Indeed, council's own behaviours, their own projects, the developments, public buildings, public realm schemes have to set the tone. Procurement should not be totally cost driven, and where local authorities are developing their own land, they will have to effectively reconcile the competing tensions between achieving best financial value and achieving best overall value, which will be the contribution of the asset and its subsequent development to the quality of the place the council wishes to facilitate. We also have design charters and design awards, which can help local authorities and communities help set out the right signals to establish a high benchmark for design. In addition, we have NPPF paragraphs 124 to 132, achieving well-designed places. And it might just be worth dwelling on the three sections that we have reproduced here, about being clear about design's expectations, how they'll be tested, is essential for achieving this, and so too is effective engagement between applicants, communities, local planning authorities and other interests throughout the process. Local planning authorities should also seek to ensure that the quality of an approved development is not materially diminished between permission and completion as a result of changes being made to the permitted scheme, for example through changes to approved details such as the materials used. This is a critical factor and it is one that we have to be proactive in policing. In determining applications, great weight should be given to outstanding or innovative designs which promote high levels of sustainability or help raise the standard of design more generally in an area, so long as they fit in with the overall form and layout of their surroundings. And it is in this area particularly that local authorities need to set a high benchmark through their own actions. So opportunities for achieving well-designed places we feel are many, and it includes the local authority acting as a savvy client in the following guises. Clearly, as the local planning authority, but it is absolutely impossible in our view to achieve this by an LPA acting on its own. The local authority may have another hat, probably will, as administrative authority, and it will be able to direct and facilitate co-investment from regional and national government and other partners into people, place and prosperity, because design and places on their own will not achieve the levels of regeneration that we need nationally without interventions targeting people and prosperity. We also need to think about economic and social development champions, who they are, how effective they are, and how we respect them. We may also need to think about design champions, and for the local authority to have a mindset as an enabling authority and a savvy partner. We've already discussed local authorities as landowners and as developers, needing to set high standards to demonstrate what can be achieved. They also need to be a savvy client in their role as joint venture partner. There are many joint ventures throughout the country, some more successful than others. The critical factor for a successful joint venture is for both partners to be respectful and both partners to be savvy and very clear about what they want to achieve through their joint venture endeavours. In addition, and quite topical at the moment, are local authorities as investors. And one of the advantages that we have with local authorities is that they can be patient investors looking to take a long-term view to achieve the returns for their local communities. And finally, local authorities continue to be landlords. We can't see this changing. And as landlord, the local authority does need to act in such a way that it promotes high quality of place for their local communities. We hope you have found this part of the programme useful. The next and final part of this learning programme will illustrate how you can test the principles by observing the 10 characteristics in a real place by carrying out a walking seminar. We will advise you when it is available. Please get in touch if you want more information. Alan@designlimited.com would love to hear from you. You can visit our website www.designlimited.com, and if you've enjoyed listening to this presentation, please could you take a moment to like our YouTube channel and to subscribe. Thank you very much indeed.